Okay. So I just want to say I feel like I have the best job in SUNY because I get to work with, as I said, an incredible community, not just in the online space, but in other areas of teaching and learning with technology. And really what I'm trying to do is help us think about how to be how and where we can innovate, where it makes sense, where it will really move the dial for students and faculty. So what I want to do today is talk a little bit about our innovative instruction ecosystem, which I talked about last year. We're on version 2.0, so I just want to share that with all of you. When I was here last year, I talked about the organization that I get to lead, Digital Innovation and Academic Services, was fairly new. All the units existed, but the configuration was new. And our priority when I stood up here last year was to really strengthen connections between the different units and orgs and activities within DS, as we call it. And then I also want to touch on a few initiatives at the SUNY level beyond DS. Some you're going to hear more about at this event. So let me start out. This was the innovative instruction ecosystem that I shared last year. And the idea is really we're trying to think about how we bring together all the activities, all the initiatives, all the work that people are doing in different pockets and places at the campus level, at the system level, focused on trying to innovate around teaching and learning with technology. How do we bring those things together? How are they connected? How can and should they be related to help us have greater impact and really advance innovations more quickly? That's kind of the idea of why we're trying to think about this. And just to say that much of what's represented in this ecosystem is not new. It's been around in SUNY for a long time, right? But the idea is how do we understand where there can be better interdependencies and things can work and build on each other. So as we think about version 2.0, and we still have the forces driving change, right? And those forces include external forces like the explosion of artificial intelligence, which Ram talked about, increased need and funding for non-credit programs and micro-credentials. We're hearing more and more about that. Continued competition from online providers. I feel like almost every day, whether it's Inside Higher Ed or the Chronicle or somebody is talking about that. Increased hybrid and high flex instructional models, which are happening as, or I think a result of the pandemic. They were out there before, but really kind of we're seeing it more. The post-pandemic economy, and I'm trying to figure out how to scroll down. There we go. Ongoing, we continue to have ongoing cyber threats. So while we're trying to be more open and flexible and provide greater access, we have to worry about people's privacy and security. And then also increased federal regulations and state policies, which are increasing the oversight of higher ed, and in some cases, creating more of an administrative burden for us. So lots of things happening on the outside. Those are not the only external forces. I'm sure if I opened up the floor, you all would throw out others that I haven't mentioned, but there's a lot going on outside of higher ed that affects us. Internal to SUNY, we now have these 4 priorities that the Chancellor laid out just a little over a year ago. The good news is that enrollments are finally starting to stabilize and even on some campuses, even increase. We are seeing post-pandemic trends of greater participation by students and faculty in online education, both in terms of enrollments, courses, programs, faculty teaching, and Dan will share some of that data with you when he comes up here. I mentioned high flex and flexible course formats. We're seeing that in SUNY. I feel like we've had a lot of conversation driven some by the DLE around EIT accessibility. A lot of work happening at the campus level, really trying to move the dial there. And as we near the completion of the DLE implementation project, really having that foundation to build on, to improve and continue to enhance that common platform for students to engage in. So I'm going to talk about some other SUNY level initiatives later, but those are just some of the internal, things that are happening that are kind of in our minds. those lead us to both external and internal forces to, surface pedagogical trends and challenges, things like the need for supporting these flexible learning environments. I didn't talk about, whenever I see it, I think of OER. Didn't talk about, what's happening in the OER space and how we're trying to do more with that. How do we do that? And then technological innovations. I feel like AI aside, just about every day, somebody is in my inbox with a new tool, a technology, a solution, and they want SUNY to adopt it across the board. And so, there's all of this coming at it. And I'm not lying about that, by the way. Like every day there's something in my inbox. So what does that mean? So that takes us into our innovative instruction ecosystem. And I framed this a little bit differently. So the first is that we have the opportunities to make investments, whether it's funds that we have within our purview, either at the campus level, at the, within the programs that we have, SUNY Online, IITG, OER with the impact grants. At that level, we also have other SUNY level investments that we can make and that we are making. And then there are investments that or funding opportunities outside of SUNY that we can go after that allow us to direct some of these innovation activities. The innovation activities that we can draw on are things like, seed grants, right? We really try and SUNY. One of the things I love about SUNY is that we like to promote and encourage innovation at the grassroots level. At the level where faculty and students are like in the thick of it and doing the everyday work of teaching and learning, right? Ideas come forward and faculty, staff propose ideas, and we fund many of those in our IITG project, but there are other seed grant opportunities as well. When we see things that we think have the potential to be successful, or we're seeing some early successes, we have opportunities to scale them, sometimes with greater investment, but sometimes in other ways as well. And then when we want to try to really codify or formalize things, we have things like the Fact2, who has task groups that can be brought to bear. And we have other task forces that get formed, to kind of tackle a particular issue and make some recommendations on how we SUNY want to proceed. The next step in that process is we look for the mechanisms to sustain innovations at scale. So it's great to say, and I'm just gonna, pick on, in the online space, right? One of the things that we saw was a need to better support online students, right? That's where the concierge model and the success coaching models were born, right? We funded some of that early work. There was Fact2 task group. We tried to bring that to scale with SUNY Online Degrees at Scale, right? And there were recommendations that were made for what does that model look like? How should that go? That has been, when we look to mechanisms for sustaining that kind of innovation, we outline it in our university-wide strategy for online education. We have university-wide standards. There's no policy on that, but standards in the SUNY Online Plus designation, right? You have to have strong student supports. In terms of university-wide infrastructure, we have a contract for platforms to support those concierges. We have coaching support that can be brought in to work with campuses. We have training that we can do. So different types of infrastructure to help sustain that. And this one I added from last year, it's our communities of practice. That's a significant opportunity that we have in SUNY because we are a system that we can bring together a community of practice of individuals. And in this space, we have the online student supports community of practice, the early alerts community of practice. We have this community of practice that we bring together to share best practices, to network and connect with people. We provide training. So that community of practice is a huge part of how we sustain innovations at scale at SUNY. So I just want to call that out because it's always there, but I think it's a really important one. And then another thing that we added from last year is, and something that we have to do a better job at, I think, and something we're going to be trying to think about in this next year, is how do we understand the impact of those investments and those innovations, right? So how are we understanding and studying the impact of the work that we do. Are we achieving the goal? Are students succeeding? Are students graduating? Are they completing faster? Are we retaining them, et cetera? Right. So how do we measure that and assess that? And then one of the really great things also about SUNY is that we have this really robust set of university-wide programs and shared services that in the previous version were kind of off on the right, but many of you will remember Kerry Hatch when I had a conversation with him about this and, just trying to get his input and feedback on this. He said, these are the foundation, right? This innovation, is supported and enabled in many cases by this suite of university-wide programs and shared services. And so whether it's SUNY Online or the Fact Council or OER Services or iTech or CCUS, right, they all have a role to play in supporting and promoting innovation, and oftentimes do so in a way that helps sustain these innovations at scale by reducing campus cost and bringing support that aligns with our quality standards. So it's a really rich asset that we have at SUNY that I think we look to and we want to continue to look to going forward. So that's the Innovative Instruction Ecosystem 2.0. Come back next year, maybe there'll be a 3.0. But what I want to say is that we're, over the next year, going to be really looking for the way to lean into this with some really targeted efforts and with hopefully some very targeted outcomes. So stay tuned for that. I want to come back to this idea of communities of practice. One of the exercises that we did in the DS team last year was identify for each of the programs and offices or initiatives, and those are in the kind of darker blue boxes across the top. Who are those communities of practice that we engage with at the campus level? So I'm not sure how readable that is for everybody. I'm sure we're going to share the slides, right, Alex? It's a really rich set of communities of practice for whatever the function or the program or the project is. So why are we calling that out? Again, I think they're always there in the background and we engage with them. But what I would like to see us do going forward is be very intentional about, as we're thinking about services, as we are thinking about, new opportunities, how are we engaging those communities of practice to both help inform and then to be aware of any changes that we make in the services that we're doing. So hopefully that makes sense. And if I missed one, if there's one missing, please let me know because we continue to update that. Ryan, did we miss one?
The change in higher ed, leading change.
Leading change community of practice, a new one. And I'm going to talk about that. Okay. So yes, thank you. Thank you. Good catch. Good catch. Okay. So next I want to talk about what we've been doing to strengthen some of the cross-functional connections within the DS org, and in some cases beyond DS as well. So one of the things that I realized when we pulled the leaders of all the groups together is that while I think it has always been an intention for there to be connections between SUNY OER services and SUNY Online, and there are ways in which we work together, there are greater opportunities for integration and interdependency and support for tying together the opportunities with open and digital content in the learning management system and in the DLE. And so that's a conversation that Tony DeFranco and Dan Feinberg, right, are talking about, are meeting regularly. We know that the help desk supports OER services, right? But we're also talking about some new opportunities with SUNY Create, right? How is that being supported? And so I think we're going to see more integration and more opportunities there. The FACT2 Council has two task groups right now: artificial intelligence and leveraging the DLE, which is really about the Learning Object Repository and Brightspace. Those both have significant implications across all of the DS units, and so we have representation on those task groups. And ultimately, when it comes to operationalizing what will come out of those task groups, the DS units are going to have to be a big part of that. So we're already having conversations, for example, with SUNY Online team as the LOR task group, the leveraging the DLE task group winds down, right? And we look to trying to roll that out to campuses and support operationally. What needs to happen? Who's going to actually do that work? Where is that going to reside? What is the impact on the operations, et cetera? So those conversations are happening. On the artificial intelligence side, there's already been a lot of work that has come out of the task group, the preliminary guide, the webinars. We're going to have a panel on this later in the summit, so I won't go into all the details, but there's a lot of work that's been produced, but some additional exploration work that we're asking them to do this semester that will inform, I think, and hopefully provide some recommendations to the provost and to things that we can be doing in the DS orgs. So I'm looking forward to that. Starfish integration within the DLE, that was really happening at the campus level prior to the DLE. You know, we really, as we were implementing Brightspace with our campuses and talking about that integration, I think we gained a deeper understanding of what some of those integration opportunities and issues were and are, and how functionality within Starfish compares with functionality in Brightspace. And so I think more support that we can provide there and more ways in which we can leverage not just Starfish, but other tools that support students on the academic side as well. Library support with the LOR task group has been huge. That task group is co-led by Director of Libraries at Monroe Community College, Katie Gaddu, and a library perspective in how we catalog and search for things, and how do we not set up a structure that is so onerous that nobody will want to use it. So I think really good perspective to tie those things together more. And I would like to think that would have happened previously, but it's very intentional now, and that's the kind of intention that I'm talking about. This year with Innovative Instruction Technology Grants, we decided to be very focused on two priorities. With the explosion of AI, we decided to focus the traditional IITG grant funding on projects specifically looking at AI in teaching and learning. And so that's going to be a whole category of projects. And then the other half is that we combined the OER impact grants, which we're really pleased to be able to be providing again as part of the IITG review process. And so there's going to be a whole, those grants will be focused on OER projects and initiatives. This year we did something different. We put in place a kind of a two-step process for identifying projects. The first was for folks to bring forth individual ideas that you normally would have seen in an IITG product or proposal. And then we collected all those ideas and we shared them out with all the proposers. And we held 4 what we called town hall sessions. They were really ideation sessions for individual proposers to talk about what they were looking to do. And we tried to group them in, I'll say, similar categories. Not exactly everybody doing the same thing, because that's not always where you have the best collaborations, but similar ideas where faculty and staff could find folks who brought complementary skills, expertise, or perspectives to the same idea, and where we could hopefully encourage and promote teams across multiple campuses to work together to submit those full proposals. So we are, we've done those town hall sessions. Proposals are now being, full proposals are now being submitted. I think they're due on St. Patrick's Day, if I'm not mistaken. We're really looking forward to them coming in. Lisa Stevens, if you're online, thank you for, and Chris Price have been phenomenal in managing all this, as well as the Innovative Instruction Research Council, who has also been participating. Lisa has been feeding me comments and questions from people who are working with other folks who they would not have been connected with had we not done these ideation sessions. And I'm really excited to see what's going to come forward. It was very much a bit of an experiment. Actually, Ram, informed by the conversation that we had on your campus visit to SUNY Purchase, or to New Paltz. So I'm really excited to see what's going to come out of this. Okay. And again, the goal there was to promote collaboration and hopefully strengthen the potential impact of these projects. Expansion of the DLE. So I mentioned we're nearing the end of completion. Harry or Dan are going to talk about the DLE. I'm not going to steal their thunder, but I do want to say that we have expanded beyond the implementation with campuses to all of SUNY's educational opportunity centers are going to have the availability of the DLE as well as the Student Conduct Institute. I'm really excited about the EOCs because, as you know, those students, a portion of the students who go to the EOCs ultimately end up coming to our campuses. So it's just extending that platform, to that environment and to those learners as well, so that when they get to our campuses, they will be familiar and not have to learn, new system and new technology. So that is in process and has been, I think, wasn't part of the original project, but made sense. And so we're doing it. The DLE Change Leadership Community of Practice. I want to say that was formally part of the DLE project implementation. But as we got that going, it became clear that that opportunity to bring together folks on the campuses who are leading change initiatives, it's not just in the space of the DLE, right? There are others in academic, IT, student success, DEI positions. Many of you all who are in lead roles in online learning, we're engaging with that. And so we have expanded that community of practice out beyond the DLE. It's just called the Change Leadership Community of Practice. I think there are monthly sessions that happen. Andrea Wade is the facilitator at the SUNY level supporting that. With help from Jamie Herron, who I see out of the corner of my eye. I want to also give a shout out to Ryan McCabe from Finger Lakes Community College and Danielle O'Brien from Alfred State College, who have been our campus co-leads in that community of practice and helping to facilitate and lead the conversations in that group. So if you're not aware of that, if you're not familiar with what that is and you're leading change initiatives at the campus level, get in touch with myself or Jamie or Ryan here, or reach out to us if you're online. And please, that is a new community of practice that I think will serve SUNY and our campuses hopefully well. And then finally, I want to talk about EIT accessibility. So, and again, a lot of this is spurred by the work in the digital learning environment. As we were implementing Brightspace and all the tools that have to be integrated with it, we identified the need for a significant amount of work to make sure that the tools that were being integrated complied with SUNY's EIT accessibility policy. That is a huge lift because there are a lot of tools. I won't give you the numbers, Harry or Dan can tell you that, but it's a huge number of tools, and it potentially represents a lot of duplication of effort across campuses to review tools and make sure that they comply with our policy. So we have provided support for that at the system level for the DLE, but the work that we're doing is raising questions, and it is spilling over into other spaces with regard to just tools that we procure, every day, and how we support the needs of our campuses, faculty and staff outside of their classrooms to ensure compliance with EIT accessibility. Because in truth, it's really in the public websites where we are most vulnerable. So there's a lot of work to be done here. It has become a significant priority across the DS orgs and something that we're working on, and something that I think you're going to continue to hear about. So I want to go back to the Change Leadership Community of Practice for a second, because I want to just call out that, again, one of the things I love about this community is that when you think about where innovation starts and happens on our campuses, it is often in this community of online learning. Oftentimes we are the first people to be, whether it's playing with new technologies, looking at new instructional models, looking at, new ways to support faculty and students. Oftentimes those innovations start with the online community and then permeate the rest of the campus. You know, case in point, early alerts, the DLE. You know, I could go through a whole list of things, the way that we're training faculty and preparing faculty. A lot of the resources that we have for faculty are applicable in their face-to-face courses if they're, you know, using any kind of technology. In fact, the templates that we developed for the DLE included, right, face-to-face courses. So a lot of the work and the innovations that happen in this space permeate the rest of the campus. And so I just want to applaud you all for being in that space and doing that work, but also encourage you and others on your campus to think intentionally about how we approach change on the campuses. I said this to, I think, our chancellor several months ago. He did a bunch of town halls, and I said to him, I wanted him to hear and know. He asked, tell me something that's working well at system and something you think that could be done better. And my one thing that I thought could be done better was for all of us at system to understand that there are strategies and approaches to change leadership that help ensure the success and sustainability of those change initiatives. And just because the chancellor says something doesn't mean it's going to happen or that it will be sustained. And so could we all just really recognize what it takes to accomplish the huge initiatives that we're taking on and commit the time, the resources, the planning, the engagement with people? Because when you're changing, just because you're changing in technology, often you're also changing culture, you're changing people's roles, you're changing you know, how people work together. Those are big changes, and they don't just happen because somebody says we're doing this new thing. So that's really what this change leadership community of practice is about. And just want to encourage everybody to, if you're in that kind of role, think about that. Okay, I have one more area before I turn over to Dan. So a few initiatives. I looked back again to my slides that I used last year and like, what did I talk about and what has actually happened this year. So last year, this $200 million for digital transformation was likely at this stage of the game because we're I think a month away from the state budget, right? And so we were very hopeful that that was going to come to be, and lo and behold, it did. And so I'm really excited that Brian Digman is going to be here later today, virtually, to tell us what's happening with the digital transformation project and you know, how we're organizing and structuring and how campuses can engage in that project. So stay tuned, more for that. We also have a new senior vice chancellor for student success. And in last year's budget, we also received $70 million for transformation funding in support of student success. Also really excited that our senior vice chancellor, Donna Linderman, and her deputy, Valerie Dent, will be here in the same panel with Brian Digman to talk about those investments and what is happening across the Office of Student Success. So stay tuned for that. And then I want to mention that I can't believe that it was just last August, September, October, we launched 3 SUNY-wide task forces. They have the acronym of STRIVE, that we refer to them as the STRIVE task forces, and that's an acronym for Strategic Research Investment. So, you know, they're really kind of focused on the research side. They're being convened by our Senior Vice Chancellor, Shadi Sandvik, you will remember as our former provost in charge, now with Ram's support and the Chancellor's support. And they are in artificial intelligence, semiconductor packaging, and biotechnology, biomaterials, and biomanufacturing. I think bioengineering is also in there. What I want to call out is that while these are research focused, there are some implications for teaching and learning, particularly artificial intelligence. There are 3 working groups there. There's a working group on education, looking at the implications of AI for teaching and learning. There's a workforce and industry, looking at the, what the workforce needs are for AI skills and AI competencies, and then social impact, with a focus on ethics and trustworthiness of AI. And so I'm really excited that the co-leads representing those working groups are going to be here tomorrow to talk about what's happening in that task force. In the semiconductor packaging task force, there also are going to be some workforce opportunities, probably less so in the biotechnology one, but you should all be aware that these are out there and that they're happening, and they are working, they worked over the fall term, was phase one of the task forces, phase two is this spring. And so look for more to come from them. So coming to the end, in my presentation last year, I ended with what's next, what to look out for. So I thought I would do that again. So fact 2 AI task group recommendations. Looking forward to what's going to be the final work of that group, which will include the update to the guide. Also, the DLE lore strategy, we hope will come out of the Fact 2 task group. What should SUNY's strategy be for deploying that lore? And then hopefully, what is it going to take to actually do that deployment? We'll be announcing later this year the awards to the IITG and OER impact grant projects, with hopefully those larger campus collaborations in some cases. We have the Empire AI Consortium. Hopefully that gets funded in the budget as the governor proposed. And I think that what's tremendous about that is that's a resource here within our state that SUNY will have access to. And how will that help inform what SUNY's big AI innovation is? And I know that's something that Ram is thinking about. And we should help inform that, by the way. The STRIVE task forces are going to be putting out 3 to 5 year strategy documents. So I think that those will be helpful to see and know as well. And the digital transformation projects will be hopefully some of them identified and starting to be executed. So that's what's coming next. So that's where I will stop. And I'm happy to take a few questions before I turn the floor over to Dan, if anybody has any.
Are there any questions from the virtual audience, Chris?
Ed?
I don't see any.
The slide that you showed that had all of the different communities of practice across it,
Yeah.
was kind of awe-inspiring at how much is going on, and kind of a little terrifying in that there were some job duties that you could trace across every single one of them.
Right, that's right.
And it
Especially if you're on a small campus.
it speaks a little bit to a fear of mine with all of these great collaborations of how do we create opportunities for people to lean in and lean out as the cycle of their campus workflow goes up and down, and what could SUNY do strategically to make sure that people who are related to these groups, but maybe can't be there bi-weekly for a meeting and can't be there monthly for a meeting, are still benefiting from the innovation that's happening in the room. And like things like dedicated note takers,
Yes.
Things like having a fire hose that like summarizes and brings together the most pertinent points could be a way to make sure that that information is flowing.
Yeah.
Because it was like, wow, look at everything that's going on. Oh my gosh, I think I see instructional designer or director of online learning in every single column.
Yeah. I think it's a really fair point. I didn't talk about this. I think Dan's going to talk about this, but we are distributing now newsletters from SUNY Online. I think OLIS is or will be, and OER services updates are included in both of them. We may go to separate newsletters for them. I will tell you, as we the digital transformation project has just brought on a communications person, and they're asking, how we did everything that we did in the DLE, which by no means was perfect, but I think we've gotten some feedback that there were some things we did there that were positive and worked well. So I think we're going to look for the ways to continue to do the things that are working. I think your point about meetings and note takers is really on point. That is not easy to do, but so beneficial. I know even just for myself, when I miss a meeting, I'm like, are there notes? And when people say there's a recording, go get the recording. Who has time to go watch the recordings? I just want to know who has time for that, because I don't. So anyway, I think it's a really fair point. Ed, thank you for calling it out. And I would, as I look to the folks who are here from SUNY Online, we should continue to think about that and take that at the DS level for all of our DS leaders. Yeah. There's, hi,
Hi, Kim.
how are you, Jeff?
I'm fine, thank you. Just to build off of that too, we have a collective DLE, we have a single platform. Why aren't we using it to communicate these?
That
back
has
and forth?
actually come up. No, that has actually come up.
That was just
Where,
from John. He didn't want to say it, so I will.
yeah, where did that come up, right? Yes, that is definitely, where's Lisa Raposa? We're talking about the SUNY Learning Commons, right? Yeah, she just stepped out. Right, like we have had this vision forever, and yes, maybe the DLE can be that. Yeah, yep, thank you. Hi.
I think I have this.
No,
Okay, yep.
like I know who you are, but introduce yourself so everybody knows who you are.
I'm Jeremy Case. I'm from Monroe, and I'm doing photography here, but also here just as a participant. Just comment on what Ed was saying there. With note taking, I don't know if you guys have played around much with the Zoom like executive summaries that you can do there, because
Yeah.
those actually
Yeah,
they're pretty interesting. Sometimes you need to edit them, like when you
Yeah.
have kind of personal conversations in the middle of the meeting, and because there's sometimes kind of weird stuff that comes out there.
yeah.
Just a quick kind of informational question. As you're going through everything, I was kind of catching pretty much everything there, except for the Student Conduct Institute. I've
Oh,
never heard of
I
that
didn't talk about
before.
what that was. Oh
Yeah.
boy, am I gonna get this right? So on our campuses, on all of your campuses, I like to pretend I'm one of you. On all of your campuses, there are student conduct processes and procedures, right? And there are people who are involved in those, students, faculty, staff who, hear complaints, hear cases, et cetera. There is a fair amount of training and requirements that they have to know and be aware of. And so we have a Student Conduct Institute at the system level. I'm sure I'm not doing it justice, but they need an online platform for delivering that training that is available to faculty and staff on the campuses. They actually do this really well, and they are well known nationally, and they are also serving institutions outside of SUNY with this professional development and training. So they are moving their training, maybe they already have, Harry, I don't know where they are, but into the DLE as well. Thank you for asking the question, because I did just gloss over that.
We do have at least one question online. If you want to.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Ken from UB was asking for those of us at institutions not on the SUNY instance, is there an opportunity at least? Sorry, something's in the way here. Learn from the LOR perspective for SUNY. Sit in and learn from the LOR perspective for SUNY.
So I got some of that, Chris. Is there an opportunity to learn what?
About the lore.
Oh, there's an opportunity to learn about the lore. Yes. And we should talk with, whoever that person is. If they want to reach out to us separately, we can talk about what that looks like. And I don't see Carol here, right? Carol Van Ziel, she might be online. Carol Van Ziel Tamsin, who's leading the implementation at UB. So yeah, just feel free to reach out to myself or Harry. I'm going to throw you in on this, okay? And we'll connect up the right people to answer the question.
There's another question from Kem, who's a grad student at UAlbany. He said, could you please explain a bit more about the Student Success Transformation Funding? Given that SUNY has a significant number of first-gen students, is there any specific program initiative particular to first-gen student success?
So I'm going to defer that to our panel this afternoon with Donna Linderman, Valerie Dent, and Brian Digman, because Donna and Valerie are going to talk about that. All right, thank you.
Awesome. Great. Hi, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today. It is nice to see everyone in 3D. instead of just through a Zoom window. My name is Dan Feinberg. I am Interim Director of SUNY Online, and I am talking today kind of a little bit more specific about SUNY Online and state of online learning and some of the numbers. I like numbers, so I'm going to dive into some of the numbers about what online learning looks like here at SUNY. And, you know, some of these Ram already talked about. He touched on some of this. You know, the idea that SUNY has courses and programs in every programmatic area. And it says here, many available online. It should say most of them are available online, right? We have between our 900 programs and 64 campuses, across 64 campuses, we have pretty much everything anyone could ask for online. There's a number of numbers here comparing, that Ram already mentioned, comparing our work from fall 2019 to 2022 to fall 22. Just tremendous growth in that time frame. I'll jump into that a little bit more closely. It's hard for me to see it a little bit, but you can see there's been a general, we all know we're in an era of declining overall enrollments, but despite that, the number of online enrollments, which is in red, and the number of hybrid enrollments, which is in orange, has been going up steadily over the last 10 years. Obviously, during the pandemic, things inverted a little bit, and we're seeing a bit of a return to the pre-pandemic levels, but I truly expect we're like 5 campuses away from having the fall 23 data. Sullivan just locked theirs in this morning. I appreciate that. So I don't have fall 23 data yet, but it's coming soon. What we expect, this is another way of looking at the same sort of data, right? The orange line is students who are not online, and the green line is students who are taking at least one online class. Right, and you can see there was a pretty steady, consistent pattern to this of moderate growth, like you talked about earlier today. Obviously inverting during the pandemic. Early indications of where these numbers wind up is that number, that 43 winds up a little bit closer to a 40, but you'll see it'll be much higher than the trajectory that we were on pre-pandemic. Right, that yes, our numbers will return a little bit, but at a much higher trajectory than what we saw before, right? Which I'm hoping reflects the story that you're seeing on your campuses. There's a bit of a lag before I see the data, so I'm sure that you're more up to date with this sort of stuff. Another interesting way to look at this is course sections, right? The red line, the red bar being the online, the orange being the hybrid, and the blue being not online. In fall 22, more than 1 in 4 sections at a community college was online, right? Which is pretty remarkable. 1 in 4 sections was an online section. At some campuses, that number is as high as 40%, 50% across the state, right? A little less at the 4-year colleges, a little less at the doctoral degree granting institutions, but tremendous numbers. Again, I'm really looking forward to being able to update this with the newest numbers. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully this reflects what you see on your campus and that this connects with you. The last graph I'm going to talk about right now is a little bit about the teaching modality that we see. Again, this is fall 22 numbers, right? And this is showing 4 courses with an online element, right? What modality are they in? Well, majority of them are asynchronous online, still have a huge hybrid group, still have a significant synchronous online. That high flex is only 2%. I expect that will grow, right? I expect that the fall 23 numbers will be significantly higher for high flex. I know a number of your campuses have high flex initiatives right now. You've been retrofitting classrooms for that. I think some of that 2% is also a coding issue. I think there's honestly more high flex going on than this indicates. But as we get better at that, I follow these numbers really closely, and I'm curious to see where this goes. So there's still a lot going on. Now, what does that look like today in our specific organization? So SUNY Online is, those of you who aren't familiar with it, right? SUNY Online, our goal is to power the advancement of equitable, innovative, and accessible post-secondary online education throughout SUNY. That's a mouthful. How do we do that? We do that through models like institutional readiness, like Oscar, like a number of different things. We do that through high-quality, cost-effective services, right? We do that through advocating for support in online learning at a federal level, at a state level, at a SUNY-wide level, right? And we do that by promoting and engaging in research and innovation. Now, on a more specific level, drilling down even further, we support campuses in a variety of different areas, right? Everything from strategic consulting, things like IR and EPR, enrollment planning roundtable, and institutional readiness, to lead generation through sites like the Explore site, to impact analysis, to LMS help desk, to seemingly a million different elements, right? So we partner with your campuses on your online learning initiatives. And I'm just going to go over a number of these in general. SUNY Online campus partnerships, Maureen Kinney has been carrying a lot of the water in that area, doing a lot of the hard work there. We have things like institutional readiness, which I think almost most of your campuses have gone through this at least once at this point. I think we're up to 40-something campuses that have engaged in the institutional readiness process. It's a self-assessment to assess the quality of your online program, right? It's free service. We've had a ton of good success with that. Same with the enrollment planning roundtable, right? Which is sort of the follow-up engagement on strategic enrollment planning and growth for online learning. Where are there opportunities to grow? Which programs are you looking at moving online? Which ones are you looking at starting online? Which programs, where are there opportunities that align with your unique strengths to grow online? And what does it mean to grow for your campus, right? Is your goal 500 new students? Is your goal 15 new students, right? So we work with you to try to identify what those are. The other big piece that Campus Partnerships works on, and I put Campus Partnerships first because it is near and dear to my heart. But the other big piece that we work on is what's called SUNY Online Plus, right? And SUNY Online Plus is, it is quality assurance at the online program level, right? We just updated the signature element standards this fall, right? Within the last few months, we updated the signature elements. And by we, I really mean Maureen, and with a ton of help from the Doodle campuses and a number of other leaders in the system. We've got something like 8, 10, 12 campuses undergoing SUNY Online Plus recertification. We have a couple of them that already finished it. And we had 21 programs in the past year receive SUNY Online Plus certification, right? So 21 in a year is a lot for us, right? Thank you. I know you're clapping for the programs, not for me. Yeah. But right now we have about 142 programs out of 900. So that's about 1 in 7, I believe, is SUNY Online Plus. So it's still a pretty small subsection, a pretty elite group of really the best programs online in SUNY. So we're really proud of that. And if you want any more information about any of these programs, talk to me, talk to some of my colleagues around the room, and we're happy to talk to you about it. Susan Warner has been doing a ton of work leading the student supports area. Thank you, Susan. There is a brand new, redesigned online student support certificate program that's being offered now. I believe the first session is wrapping up soon, right? And the second session is starting. We're offering that every fall, every spring, right? So if you have online student support personnel, we are happy to work with them in that. Many of you, we've expanded the use of what's called SAUCI. SAUCI stands for the SUNY Online Student Success Inventory. It's written right there. That is a way, it is essentially a mechanism for students to determine their own readiness for online learning, right? To determine their own self-efficacy. It's research-based. We're seeing it rolled out to many more campuses now. There's no cost for that, right? If you're interested in being involved at all, please reach out to Susan, reach out to myself, and we can get you hooked up with Saucy as well. It kicks off a ton of useful data about where your students are, where your prospective students are coming from. The other big initiative that they have going on is the brand new online student success collaborative community of practice. Kim mentioned a lot of the community of practices that we are engaged with. This is one of our newest ones, but what, 60 people, 70 people involved right now from most of the campuses. So that's been a big success for us. So we are excited about that. Alexander Pickett leads our SUNY Online teaching functional area. They have many things going on. All I did was mention Oscar on this one, which is just the tip of the iceberg. Many of you, Oscar is a great example of a collaboration between SUNY Online and the campuses, where we got a ton of feedback. We got a ton of input and hard work from many of you in making Oscar what it is today. Again, this is the latest data I was able to get, but 68 countries, all 50 states, more than almost 1,200 institutions have downloaded Oscar during that 1 year period. Who knew there were that many institutions? Right. I think we got them all. But it's been a tremendous success rather than just sitting and resting on our laurels with Oscar. There's a ton of work that still goes into it. Oscar, the website has been updated tremendously in the past year. An Oscar-informed syllabus template was developed, right? An Oscar-informed course templates were developed. We have new annotations dealing with RSI, regular and substantive interaction. We have new annotations dealing with DEISJ, diversity, equity, inclusion, social justice. And it's not on there, but I know that there's COIL annotations that are in development as well. So there's a lot of work that is still going on with Oscar to make it, what is it, version 4? We're in version 4, yeah, to really make it a living document and continue to be up to date and a tool that we all can use. If you're not using Oscar, please reach out to Alex, reach out to myself, reach out to any of us, and we're happy to work with you. We're happy to work with your faculty. We're happy to work with your instructional design staff to implement it how best for your campus. Absolutely. Mike Walker is our help desk manager. Thank you. Thank you. Everyone loves the help desk. Whenever we do surveys, the help desk is like off the charts. 104 hours a week, tremendous amount of effort. Open 7 days a week till midnight most days, right? 45 campuses you're supporting now, 46 campuses. We've increased the number of hours by 30% over the last 4 or 5 years. They're really doing more than they ever have before, including support for OER services, including support for SUNY Create. So they're really expanding beyond just the DLE as well. To look at a little bit, just a couple of the numbers, Mike was telling me on the train this morning that in his tenure, the help desk has had, they're approaching their 500,000th ticket, right? So 500,000 tickets. A lot of tickets. So that's a lot of faculty supported, a lot of students supported over the last few years. Just in 2023, almost 40,000 tickets. Interestingly, this number, this breakdown between faculty and students has been shifting, right? And it is definitely now more faculty than students at this point, which is fantastic. We're happy to work with faculty. And the students have been able to find their way pretty smoothly during this migration process. This was, other than the COVID year, I think this was our biggest year ever, which is remarkable. We averaged over 100 tickets a day. And in the fall, when everyone was on Brightspace, we were up to almost 180 tickets a day. So that's a lot. That's a lot to keep you busy. Other things that we have going on, we mentioned some of these already. We maintain Erin Maney and her team does a tremendous amount of work maintaining our websites. We have multiple different websites. We have multiple different publications that we maintain, including the DLE Bulletin, which Kim mentioned, the SUNY Online Digest, our Explore site. We have multiple different events throughout the year. I think National Distance Learning Week is this week, next week. Open Ed Week is next week. In my house, it's the high holidays of online learning. That is next week. It is. And every week. As well as things like the Effective Practice Awards, which I believe we are presenting on later today, right? We're very proud of those. And the Online Teaching Ambassadors, we're very proud of as well. So definitely keeping busy with a number of community engagement activities. Like Kim mentioned, we have regular community practice meetings with many communities of practice, right? We're able to engage on a regular basis with many of you throughout the system in different roles. SUNY Online Application Services, everyone knows Harry Cargile and Steve Race. I'm not going to go too deep into this because Harry's got his own presentation coming up. You may have worked with them a little bit during the DLE implementation. Not quite the same applause for the DL implementation as it was for the help desk, but that's okay. Yeah. See, Harry? Yeah. I only have a few slides about this, but all of you have been involved in the, I think we first broke ground on the DLE activity in 2018, all the way up to fall 23 before all campuses were using Brightspace. It was tremendous effort. I'm happy to see that you all got your moose. Compliments of our friends from D2L, so thank you very much for that. Just a tremendous amount of effort. We've been showing this slide for the past 4 years in different permutations. 2 years, the last 4 years in different permutations. And I'm really pleased that we're at the point where all of them are in production. Also, coming soon to your campus, we are rolling out a number of visits related to the DLE. The whole DLE implementation took place without any face-to-face visits, right? For a number of reasons, but we were able to accomplish great things that way. Our goal with this is to engage with you, with your campus DLE team and leadership to understand what your priorities are and really support your goals and initiatives related to the DLE, right? So we're going to be reaching out over the next few weeks, months to connect with all of you. And we would love to show up on your campus and talk with you. We'll bring moose. We'll bring other DLE swag, so it'll be a good experience. Last slide related to the DLE, because like I said, I know Harry has a lot to talk about today, is really about the amount of training and support that went into making this a success. Jamie Herron, Robert Becker, Rob Pierkowski, literally thousands, and this 1,600 hours of training delivered doesn't touch on the amount of effort that went on campuses from you all, right? I know that there are thousands of hours, tens of thousands of hours that you ran workshops on your campuses for your faculty. Just a tremendous amount of effort to get where we are today. Over 20,000 registrations in the SUNY faculty, from SUNY faculty and staff in workshops that we ran, right? 7 different unique templates. Alexander Pickett and Andrea Gilbert, I think we're in charge of that group to pull that together. Tons of campus input on making these successful. So thank you all for all of that work. The asynchronous modules were rolled out. We have around 3,000, 4,000 certificates earned, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. Literally tens of thousands of faculty have benefited from those asynchronous modules, from the videos that have gone out. You know, many faculty got what they needed out of it without making it all the way to the end and getting the certificate, but truly a tremendous effort. Related to that, that's an otter. It is a scary looking otter. When you look at it this close, it's a little less cuddly. But that's okay. Yeah. We do have The reason why we included this picture of an otter is, and I'm not going to get the acronym right. I know it's online teaching, technology and educational resources. It's workshops for faculty development, webinars, courses on AI, all of that is rolling out through Jamie Herron and our professional education services unit with a tremendous amount of support from the CPD. None of this would be possible, of course. So look for that, look for announcements related to that coming up. And finally, you know, like we have a ton of different ways that you can stay informed and engage with us. John Zelnick has done yeoman's work on the service level agreement, on the impact report, right, which are available here at the summit today. We hope you take home some of them. If you don't, we will be mailing them to you. Join one of our community practices, you know, and reach out. Contact me, contact any of, you know, the leadership team, any of the staff, contact the help desk, and we'll make sure your call gets routed in the right direction and get you the, you know, support that we can. So it really is a team effort. Thank you all. Happy to take any questions if you have any. I don't know how much time I have, Alex.
Yeah, there's time.
Okay, so we have a couple minutes.
Chris Price, anything from the virtual audience?
No, someone's asking, are COIs only SUNY or can outsiders join? And there's another question.
That's an interesting question. Are the communities of practice only for SUNY or can outsiders join? Alex, you want to chime
I
in?
think it depends on, we do many things that are openly available to anyone regardless of SUNY affiliation. So for example, this summit is being streamed live for anyone. And so just reach out if you hear of an event that you're interested in, you know, participating in. We love to include our friends of SUNY in any of the activities that we're doing. You can join. We do the SUNY Online Teaching Unit does monthly webinars that are freely available to anyone to join. So just reach out to one of us if there's something that you're interested in joining. More likely than not, it will be, unless it's SUNY specific. You know,
Right.
we open it up.
Absolutely.
We love it to include our friends of SUNY.
There's another related question too, Dan. Is there a way for non-SUNY folks to see the Student Online Readiness Survey?
Oh, to see Saucy? Do we have non-SUNY folks who are engaged with Saucy? Not generally. We're talking about, it is openly licensed, right? Do you want to turn your mic on?
I think Kim can answer this better, but there is some cost to SUNY for the licensing for the software that hosts it. So I'm not sure how that would work out.
So we'll talk offline. I mean, I think we can make the tool itself available in some way.
Absolutely. We're happy to share the, certainly the questions and the tool and stuff like that, even if you don't use our infrastructure specifically for it. So it is openly licensed, just like Oscar is, just like, you know, a lot of what we do.
There's
So
one more here, unless you have questions there. I can't see, obviously. Do you want me to ask the other one I have here?
I'm sorry, Chris, I didn't hear
There's
that
another
completely.
question online. Do you want me to ask it or you have other
Please.
questions in the room? Okay. So Mark asks, any thoughts on the Department of Education proposed changes that could gut state authorization reciprocity agreements and their impact on offering distance education? So
Yeah,
that's simple question.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's a really big deal. I know that they're doing the third session of the negotiated rulemaking, I believe, just this week. Cheryl Dowd from WCET is going to be joining us tomorrow to update us on all things, and she is truly an expert on that. You know, these are regulations that, if enacted, would have a big impact on all of our campuses. So we're definitely watching them closely. I know during the TPS work, the third-party servicer work, we coordinated with a number of campuses in the Doodle group to submit comment to the Department of Education on that. I think we're prepared to do that again if we need to.
Yeah, I mean, I think, the way those things generally work best is, for comments to come from campuses. So we encourage you certainly to do that when that opportunity is there. The other thing I was going to mention is that I've asked David Cantaffa to try and be available online when, Cheryl is here and presenting, so that in case, there are comments or questions from the SUNY perspective, he can try to address those.
Great, great. But we're definitely following it closely and anxious to see how that unfolds. Any easier questions? If not, I think Harry's on in like 2 minutes.
Yep.
So.
Just
timing's
want to
good.
thank you, Dan,
Sure.
and Kim and Provost Rum. Thank you so much for kicking off our summit today. Thank you all for the virtual participants and for Chris Price, who was our virtual moderator, and everyone here today. Thank you very much. We're going to switch from this session to the next session, so just a couple seconds break. For those here physically in the room, if you need to take a bio break, please feel free. We're going to start up at as close to 11:30 as possible, which means 2 minutes. So we'll see you in 2 minutes. Thank you. Thanks, Chris.
Welcome.